but it definitely worked by far better than any travel pillow I've tried in the past. I might be the very last person to jump on this bandwagon, but I never really found that packing cubes were that necessary. Someone who wants to pack your entire trip in this backpack, it is possible. It comes on this handy little string. I made the rookie mistake of trying to travel with my Stanley Cup. I have to say though, I love this. In preparation for my honeymoon, I ordered a bunch of popular travel items from Amazon. Here are the ones that were actually worth it. I will also notate the ones that were absolutely not worth it as well. Everything I mentioned will be linked down below if you are interested. So let's jump right into it with a travel pillow. I was never really one to feel like I needed a travel pillow because I usually don't travel for that long on an airplane, but I am a big airplane sleeper. But I usually wouldn't even need a pillow. I just would make it work. Doesn't take much for me to sleep on a plane. But for our honeymoon, we had 2 red-eye flights. So I figured this was the best time to try a high quality travel pillow that will actually make it easier to sleep on the plane. Also, I was the middle seat for both of these flights, so this was necessary. This is the Turtle airplane pillow. As you can see, it's a lot sleeker than a normal travel pillow that's like that C shape. It comes in this case, which is nice because then your pillow's not touching anything. It also has a little hook for you to hook up to your suitcase or to your backpack. Now, I was kind of nervous having this dangle outside of my backpack. I since have tried it on the airplane dangling outside of my backpack, but I wasn't sure if I was gonna get in trouble for like having another item outside of my personal item. It was fine though. Here's what it looks like. So it has a little Velcro here, and basically this is super structured, so it actually holds your neck up. So you just put it on the side, wrap it around, and then you just sleep like this. You actually have somewhere to rest your head. So would I say that this is worth it? I would say yes. I will say it wasn't as life-changing as I was expecting. Like, my neck was still like a teeny bit sore after sleeping on this all night, but it definitely worked by far better than any travel pillow I've tried in the past. I also think it's super well designed. It's very slim, which is really smart. And the fact that it came with a carrying case, it's just well engineered and it does its job. So if you are in the middle seat and sleeping on the plane is a necessity, I would definitely consider getting this. Kind of on the same realm, I got this travel blanket pillow. So this can be used as a pillow or a blanket, but you can't use that as a pillow and blanket at the same time because the pillow part of it is the blanket inside. But I purchased this initially for our trip to Bora Bora. Now, when we were packing, I was too nervous to bring this because I felt like it was too big to have outside of my suitcase. Now, it's literally designed to be outside of your suitcase, so you can put it over your luggage with this thing, and then it also has a hook for you to hook onto your backpack or your luggage. I just felt like it was too big. I felt like I was going to get yelled at, so I was too nervous. So I actually left it at home, and I was sad. Because even when you're at a hotel, having a spare blanket that's actually soft and cozy is actually really, really nice. So on my most recent trip to Hawaii, I did decide to bring it because I had more room in my backpack for that trip. So just in case I got in trouble, I could shove it in my backpack. Like, that was an option. First off, I did not get in trouble for not having this inside my backpack. I wanted to test it out and I was totally fine. Nobody said anything. It was fine. Also, I was so glad I brought this because that flight specifically was freezing. And I get cold very easily. So I would say if you get cold very easily, this is for you. The blanket is super soft and cozy. Love how it comes in its own case, so your blanket doesn't get dirty when you're traveling. Also, when I had this, I didn't even use my airplane pillow, which I did bring. When I was actually sleeping, I did just use this. But it doesn't work as good, obviously. And I had a window, so it makes a big difference. Next up, we have this travel pill container. Now, I've seen this go viral on TikTok, and I was like, I mean, that's nice and all. That's handy. I would say yes, it gets the job done, and yes, I used it for its intended purposes. Now, I still brought all of my prescription medications separate because I was nervous that having them in like an unlabeled case like this, like there's just no way of proving that that's your prescription. I do think this did save me space in my suitcase, and I was able to bring a lot of things like allergy medicine, melatonin, all of these little things that are nice to travel with, but are not necessarily required. So I do really like this. I do think they make higher quality ones though, obviously for a higher price. This was very, very affordable, and it is magnetic. But my one complaint about this is if you have even just a little too many pills in your container, the magnetic will not connect. So it will just like flop open. But for a trip that's shorter than a week, this is definitely enough space to hold as many pills as I think you should probably need. I'm might be the very last person to jump on this bandwagon, and that bandwagon is packing cubes. So I've been going all my life just free-balling it, clothes just in my suitcase. I roll them, but I never really found that packing cubes were that necessary. But for my honeymoon specifically, we were definitely trying to maximize our space. So I did get this pack of packing cubes on Amazon, and I've been very, very impressed. A big asset of these packing cubes specifically is they do compress, so you can pack them with this zipper open like this. And then once your clothes are in the cube, you squish it down and then you zip it up to really compact clothes. Now, I feel like that is what actually helps save space. But for me, I mean, I usually have a problem with the weight. I don't really have a problem with the space. But in terms of space, this definitely helped. I had a compressed cube in my backpack on the way there. I had a change of clothes in there, and that was super helpful because that was a space issue. Although my backpack did get very heavy, we'll get to that. But it definitely helped. And also this pack comes with so many cubes, like it covers all of my cube needs. This specific one even came with a toiletry bag. I liked how it has the 2 separate zippers, so all my things aren't just flying everywhere. It doesn't have a hook, but it was perfect for what I needed, and it came in the set that I was already purchasing. So in terms of bang for your buck, this set of compressing packing cubes was a winner. So next up, I wanted to invest in an actual personal item that would work for me. I used to travel with my long chomp bag, and if you have a long chomp bag, you might know that thing gets very heavy and it is not very travel friendly because you can't put it on your suitcase. So for longer trips, I needed something that was going to maximize my space that would actually fit on my suitcase and be sufficient. So I got this backpack. This backpack is super, super popular on Amazon. It has a lot of popular features, so I was definitely drawn to it. It also comes in a bunch of different colors too, which is very cool. But I got it in this beige color because I figured it would match with everything a lot easier than other colors. So this backpack is really cool. It is like a mini suitcase. It even opens up completely. I'll show you. It has buckles so you can compress it. Here, it opens up completely, kind of like a suitcase does. It also has a compartment where you can put a pair of shoes. Now, I personally didn't because I feel like a pair of shoes would take up the entire bag. I couldn't figure out why I would need a pair of shoes in my carry-on because I'm wearing my shoes, you know? Anyways, that's an option though. If you want to keep your shoes separate, there's a compartment down here in which you can put your shoes through here. It also comes with a charging port so you can put an external battery in here, which I did buy for this. You do have to get one that's pretty narrow, but then you just need the cord and your backpack can charge your phone. In the back, it has the luggage slot. It also has this compartment where you can put like your passport or your ID, like anything that you want to keep protected. You can put that right there near your body. It's padded. This backpack truly has like all the works. Like, look at the amount of compartments. There are compartments on the inside too. This backpack was exactly what I was looking for, and it did work super, super well. I would highly recommend it, especially if you're like someone who wants to pack your entire trip in this backpack. It is possible. What I will say though is the backpack itself is not heavy, which is a huge, huge bonus, but definitely on our trip to Bora Bora, we maximized the space and we had a lot of different flights. So we had a lot of walking in the airport, and this got heavy super, super fast. But that just might be a personal problem. I don't think that's this backpack's fault. So let's switch gears for a moment and talk about something that was absolutely not worth it. I think this is actually the only item that was like actually a flop, and that is this portable fan. So this thing really sold me. Like all the pictures, it's like you can have it sitting up like this, you could wear it, it can hold your phone, it can act as an external battery, it has all of the works. So I purchased this thinking, great, this is perfect because I did my research before our trip and I saw that in the Tahiti airport, they do not have air conditioning and it can get very, very hot. And that was absolutely true. As soon as we landed, we could feel the humidity hit us right in the face. And I thought in that moment, this is perfect because I brought this portable fan, I came prepared. I whipped this thing out. I don't know if you can hear it. It's not that loud. This thing did nothing. It was more hassle than it was worth, and it was hot in there. Like I felt like I could use anything. Probably works just as well as any portable fan that's this size. You know, those like little ones that you can get that are just fans. It's the same thing. But to me, I feel like this was actually more gimmicky than it's worth because the fan power is just so subpar. To me, it just like wasn't even worth pulling out of my bag, even in an airport that had no AC. I would return this if I could, but honestly, I used it, so I don't want to return it. I definitely wouldn't say this is worth it. So I want to mention something that is not necessarily specific for travel, but man, did this come in handy when traveling. So this is a portable speaker, and I actually use this as my shower speaker too. It works so well. It is waterproof, it is portable, the sound quality is really good. I've never had a problem connecting it with Bluetooth. It comes on this handy little string. This thing is so perfect for a beach vacation. I really enjoyed using it in the hotel when we were getting ready, and it is very travel friendly. Like, look how tiny this is. I've used cheaper speakers before, especially like sometimes I've gotten free speakers or ones that are specifically made for the shower, and you can absolutely tell the difference in quality between this one and those ones. And this one's still so tiny. So yeah, I definitely think I'll be bringing this on all my trips going forward because it is just so nice to have music with you. This speaker's a good one. So I've mentioned this before, but let's talk about my trusty dusty travel ring. So let's see if you can guess which one is my travel ring and which one is my real ring. So this one is my travel one. I think it was under $20. The price does fluctuate on Amazon. I will say I've had this one for about a year now, and although I still travel with this one and I still like it, it has of course tarnished. I mean, it's cheap. It's not made from any real gold or anything close to that, but I do still like traveling with it because it's just peace of mind. I don't like traveling with my real ring. I will say if you are looking to get a travel ring, I would not recommend getting one that is big, because the whole point of having a travel ring is so people don't rob you or you don't lose your real ring. Now, of course, you could just not bring your ring, period, but like, I mean, I like having a ring, you know? It's what I'm used to now. Even though this one has tarnished a little bit, let's see if you can tell. The gold has tarnished a little bit. When I'm wearing this one, I cannot tell at all that this one is the fake one versus my real one. So definitely always pack this when I'm traveling, especially if I'm like adventuring, doing anything where it could potentially fall off. I don't want to risk it. If you're liking these items so far, make sure to like this video so I know and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much. So let's talk water bottles. So I have a story time. I made the rookie mistake of trying to travel with my Stanley cup. My husband got me a Stanley for Christmas because he actually liked mine. I got him a Stanley for his birthday in January. And I had this grand plan. I bought us both carriers for our Stanley. I imagined us in the airport with our Stanleys, being hydrated on the beach with our ice cold water, just sipping from our Stanleys. It was a whole vision. This is the carrier I got for myself. I got him the black one. And here's what I'll say about this. It does work. It is super easy to use. You just pop your Stanley in it. Has a little Velcro here. And then it has this little holder too, where I put my ID and my phone. This was an absolute nightmare to travel with. I do not recommend bringing your Stanley on the airplane. First off, this thing is not leak proof. If it tips over in the airplane, there's water everywhere. The entire flight, I was like holding it like a baby, me and my Stanley. Second thing is, this is considered another item. This is like your personal item. I don't want this to be my personal item. I have my backpack for that. So we were lugging this around. I was like hiding it, hoping that nobody would see. But this thing is massive. So it was very obvious that like it was another item I was carrying in addition to my backpack and my carry-on suitcase. Now I got lucky because I was able to check my carry-on suitcase because the flight was full. This kind of served as my personal item, but I just would not risk it. It's just not a good idea. And if you want to pack it, this takes up so much space on your suitcase. So I got an alternative that actually fixed all of my problems and works so much better. So I got an Aala water bottle. Now this one is actually leak proof. It keeps your beverages cold, even colder than the Stanley. And I would say this water bottle is 100% worth the hype. I know this is like the popular water bottle of the moment, but I would say this one is very well engineered and is far better to travel with in my opinion. So it has this little holder, locks in place. You push this button, pops out, and then it has a straw so you can drink it from the straw like this, but it also has a spout so you can also drink it like this. I love the colors that this one comes in. Also, I recently heard like the way the spout is, it like helps you prevent wrinkles. Like I'm not that worried about that, but like straws cause more wrinkles because it's more circular. So, I mean, that's just an added bonus to this water bottle. I took this one traveling for my most recent trip and this one was the winner. I'm a big fan of bringing reusable water bottles when you travel. I always struggle to stay hydrated, so I need to make it easy for myself. And this is also really nice to bring to the beach too. So a couple items I either couldn't find or reuse that I would recommend. So on our way to Bora Bora, we were actually thinking of bringing a bottle of wine because they actually encourage that. Now, we decided upon packing that we were just going to buy alcohol at duty free and then bring it to the resort, which they encourage, like that's totally okay. But we bought these jet bags in order to keep the alcohol safe. We actually ended up bringing a bottle of alcohol back, and we were able to use this jet bag to keep it safe and make sure it did not leak in our bag. So I highly recommend this if you are traveling with beverages. We even used it for our sunscreen and for any other like bigger liquids that we put in our check-in bag, because you just never know. And I've had leaky situations and it is just not good. So I would either get one of these bags that is literally made for leaks, but you can also use just like a gallon Ziploc bag that definitely helps too. But for alcohol, like bottles that have a lot of liquid in them, I highly recommend checking out these jet bags. The second thing that I purchased to travel with that I highly recommend is I bought this tiny notebook to bring with me. I wanted to remember a lot of like the little things that happened on our honeymoon, like the little jokes that happened or the funny moments. So I bought this notebook so that we can jot down all the little details and the funny little things that happened, so we can just remember all of the special things that happened during our trip. Highly recommend doing this. I was able to get this notebook. It was very affordable on Amazon, good quality, and it was nice and small. I also do recommend packing a pen when you travel too, because the number of times I've used the pen that I packed in my personal item, it's often, especially if you travel out of the country. So this notebook and a pen, highly recommend traveling with these two things. Next up, let's talk about a couple beauty items or sunscreen type items. This sunscreen has gone completely viral. Now, it is pretty expensive, so I was really hoping that it would work for me. It is the Color Science Sun Forgettable Total Protection Face Shield Flex, and it is a 50 SPF. Now, pro tip, you can actually use your HSA or FSA dollars on sun care, including this. If you do have an employee sponsored health plan, that's what I use to buy this. But it's still pretty pricey for sunscreen. I have to say though, I love this. This is such a must-have if you're on a tropical or beach vacation, because when you're at the beach or at a pool, you don't really want to be wearing makeup, and you also need to be wearing your SPF. The tint in this, I felt like was perfect amount of coverage for me that like still looked good with no other makeup. Felt good about wearing my SPF. It matched my skin tone perfectly. I got it in the shade medium, which I think is like kind of in that mid-range shade, but they do have a variety of different shades. This I'm definitely going to continue to repurchase though and travel with, because it is like a tinted moisturizer but better. The coverage was great and it was just a really good shade for me. So I can see why people hype this up. Not to mention it wasn't greasy, which I loved. It actually felt like the texture of like foundation. Didn't feel like some sunscreens that I've used before. Another sunscreen option that is very travel friendly. This is the Shiseido Clear Sunscreen Stick. Now I love this. Oh, the way it smells reminds me of vacation. This was super ideal for reapplying. It is so easy. It's just like this solid gel sunscreen. It is 50 SPF and you literally just put it on your face. This is so good for your nose, for your ears. I mean, for your whole face obviously, but like for those areas in particular, I always forget to reapply because it's not always fun, but this makes reapplying to your face very easy. Now I would say this one's like a little bit greasier than the Color Science, but not to a point that I cared. It definitely was better than a lot of sunscreens I've tried before. Something I've also seen go viral as an Amazon must-have is this makeup bag. I actually use this makeup bag as my everyday makeup bag, but I travel with it as well. It looks like this, and basically the awesome thing about it is it opens like this, so you can see all your makeup as you're applying it. Now, I've had this bag for a few months now. At first, when I first got it, I was a little unsure. It doesn't feel like the most high quality bag I've ever tried, but it has worn very well, and the way it is built is awesome, especially when you're traveling and you have limited space to do your makeup. It absolutely makes it easier to find everything. So that's everything for my Amazon travel essentials, everything that I have been influenced to purchase and whether or not it was worth it. Let me know if I missed anything, and if you have any travel essentials that have made your life so much easier. We have a couple more trips this year, which is very unusual for us. We were actually looking back on 2023 and I realized I had not gotten on a single flight in 2023. And this year, 2024, is the year of travel. Sometimes the season is just that way, but I'm definitely interested in hearing your travel hacks and essentials. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'll see you next time. Bye.